What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have an awesome episode for you guys here today. In this episode, we're going to be talking about NIO's earnings, Tesla being added to the S&P 500, and basically everything else that's going on in the market right now. We have a lot of great plays for everyone today and a lot of important news, so make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. And then also, if you want our free day trades that Tom and I post each morning, it's the first link in the description down below. Tom had an amazing day trade this morning, if you want to pull it up real quick, with DraftKings. So Tom, before the market even opened, said DraftKings, as long as it pops above $44.33, he liked it to the upside, and DraftKings just exploded. So we post free trades like this every single morning. It's the first link in the description down below. But Tom, let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, definitely. NIO earnings are going to be the big talk of the stock market in after hours today, and you can really see how much that they flew down and they came back up. So that volatility is really there on NIO, which was going to be apparent with these earnings. And these earnings are actually pretty crazy. They reported a quarterly loss of negative 12 cents per share, which beat an analyst consensus of about negative 17 cents per share by 29.41%. And this is 63.64% increase over losses of negative 33 cents per share from the same period last year. The company reported sales of $666.60 million, which is a very strange number there, which beat the analyst consensus estimate of $655.28 million by 1.73%. This is a 159.39% increase over sales of $256.98 million of the same period last year. And that's awesome. You can really see that increase in sales, but they only beat the expectation by 1.7%. But the increase year over year is definitely there for NIO. And it's really crazy to see this really volatile movement to the downside and then back up. You know, I kind of expected it to stay down there whenever it got that low, or maybe not. I just didn't expect it to pop all the way back up to 47. I expected it maybe back up to 45 or 46, but that's pretty high.
Right now, NIO is set to just crush premiums both on the call side and the put side for tomorrow morning. Seeing NIO barely move in after hours is just going to be a horrible sign for anyone who bought calls or puts on this earnings play. And this is exactly why Tom or I never play earnings, because even if you predict the direction correctly, you can still lose money. And as of right now with NIO, both calls and puts are set to fall in value by tomorrow morning. If we see more movement to the upside or the downside, that can change that. But right now, it's really not looking good for anyone who bought any option on NIO.
Yeah, I mean, earnings are always risky. We always say not to play them, and this is why we don't. But, you know, some guys, they just can't help themselves, Mike, you know. It's just a gambling mindset sometimes. You know, you have to get out of that and just sometimes transition into safer stuff.
Yep. I mean, sometimes with earnings plays, you'll see people knock 2,000% on them. But in the long term, playing earnings is a losing strategy. So, Tom, what else happened in the market?
Yeah, Tesla actually had some great news yesterday where they're getting added to the S&P 500, and Business Insider reports that Elon Musk's wealth is going to skyrocket by $15 billion on this play, and he's about to become the world's third richest person. Tesla, with a market capitalization of $400 billion, met requirements to be included in the index and is set to join as one of the 10 most valuable companies on December 21st. So that's a pretty big entrance into the S&P 500, already being in the top 10. And, you know, they're a huge company, and it seems like they're just growing every year, and their chart is awesome. And their chart was really crazy before the split, whenever you could really see that movement from like $50 a few years ago all the way up to $2,500, I believe it was.
Guys, there's two aspects to Tesla's movement right now. One aspect is the hype behind it. You know, everyone says, oh, Tesla is getting added to the S&P 500. Let me jump in before Tesla gets to $700 per share. That's one aspect of it. But another aspect of this catalyst is it's a pretty unique catalyst. And Tesla is up because think about all of the funds that manage, you know, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars and they manage it through the S&P 500. Now that Tesla is being added to the S&P 500, a bunch of huge funds and hedge funds and a bunch of huge just institutions are going to be buying up Tesla to add it to their portfolios now that it's being added to the S&P 500. So I just wanted to cover that because I know it can get a little bit confusing and it's a pretty unique catalyst.
Yeah, and one thing that was strange about Tesla's chart is that, they really went up in after hours on that news yesterday. But the thing is like normally, you'd expect since they ended up coming back down at open to see some type of like small IV crush. But what's kind of crazy is that the IV actually went up and stayed up on Tesla, which was kind of strange. It just caught my eye.
True, yeah. I mean, Tesla's up about 8%, and their IV, like you said, actually rose a little bit, which is interesting to see. So, was there any other news that happened in the market today?
Yeah, there was actually some news with the stimulus bill today, and neither Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell or House Speaker Nancy Pelosi have budged from their positions on the pandemic relief bill, despite the mounting toll on the outbreak that's taking on the country. President-elect Joe Biden is urging Congress to approve legislation before he takes office. And this is pretty important because if he does end up taking office, they're obviously probably going to get a bill passed. But until that happens, there might not be a bill. I'm not trying to get political or anything, but it's just another one of those things where the market wants a stimulus and they're not getting it right now. But really, this news is going to get way overhyped by all of the EV news. And I wouldn't really pay much attention to this right now. I would more focus on NIO and Tesla and all the big news coming out.
Gotcha. Yeah, obviously, the sooner we get a stimulus deal, the better, regardless of who is president. I know there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of just craziness going on in the political environment right now. So the main thing is we want a stimulus deal soon. So, Tom, was there any other major news that happened in the market today?
Nothing too major.
All right, well, let's get into our Discord member of the day. And today's member of the day is JT Beast. So he made an awesome post in the Profits channel in the Discord group saying, been doing well since I started making smart decisions based on mixing fundamentals and technicals. Huge thanks to Mike and Tom. So awesome job. And you can see his screenshot in the past month. His account is up about 82%. And what I really like about this chart is it's not like it's just one trade that skyrocketed him up 82%. It's just been more of like a slow and steady increase, which is exactly what you want to see. So huge shout out to JT Beast for just doing a great job and keep it up.
Yeah, guys, really check out the Discord. We love posting these trades for you guys, and it's just awesome to see him grow this account like this. Definitely check out the Discord. Take advantage of those free day trades, and just like we posted today, that DKNG play on DraftKings was really good. Once it popped above the level I said, DraftKings really went up. So let's go take a look at it on the chart. You can really see how I have the red line, which is right where I had the support. Or the resistance, this morning, and you can see it popped right above that and just started flying, and that's exactly where you should have gotten in.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, quick reminder, it's the first link in the description down below. So now let's get into the momentum plays for tomorrow. But Tom, you're already on DraftKings, and that's the first momentum play. What levels should we be watching?
Yeah, watch for DraftKings to go ahead and break above $47, which was pretty close to the high of today. And one thing to watch with them is that there was this candle on a daily chart a while back, which is going to pose a pretty big support, I believe, around 47.50. So around 47 to 47.50. So be careful playing it as it could turn around.
Awesome. With the next play, we have Workhorse WKHS.
Workhorse, yeah, go ahead and make them pop above 22.20.
All right. And then last but not least, we have Microsoft, but to the downside.
Yeah, they're really bleeding off for Microsoft. Make them fall below 214.
Awesome. So now let's get into our unusual options activity for tomorrow. And we are looking at the MU $57.50 call options that expire on December 18th. And there was about $1.2 million put into this play. Looking at Micron, I know Tom and I were talking about this a little bit earlier today. It has a lot of momentum, and it definitely has some room to go up. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I really like the long-term chart. It seems like they're getting kind of close to some resistance levels, but man, they have a lot of momentum, like you said, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of retested the $64 level by any means, and it just looks very strong. They're holding right on that 100 SMA, staying right above it. I really like this, and this could almost pose as another momentum trade for tomorrow if they pop above 62.20. It could be a pretty good call option tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. So now let's get into our questions from the previous episode. With the first question, we have Hamid saying, hey guys, what are your thoughts on Alibaba? I bought it at $264, but ever since it keeps going down. Any idea it goes back up within a couple of months? So Alibaba, let's take a look. BABA, what are you seeing, Tom?
Yeah, on the daily chart, it's actually looking pretty red to me. I was kind of hoping that they would pop back up here on this support of around 268 to 270, but it looks like that they actually broke below that over the past couple days, and it looks like that they're going to keep running down. But I would expect them to have a slight pullback maybe to the upside, but I honestly would still be looking pretty bearish on them. It's just not looking good, and there's honestly been a lot of bad news about these Chinese stocks as well.
I can definitely see it pulling up within the next couple of days or so. And I mean, he really didn't have a horrible price. $264. It's not a horrible price. Of course, it's not amazing, but if you really like Baba for the long term, there's really no wrong time to buy, you can say. I think the best thing to do would be to dollar cost average or just buy a little bit, each week or each month or whatever fits your strategy. But that's only if you like it for the long term.
Yeah, I agree, and I would definitely say to average in as well, especially if you're in at 264 because your price is pretty good. But just imagine it almost like you're in the middle of the road. You would like to get in more around 240 if you can, but the thing is like if you're in at like 264, you could maybe average in if it falls down to like 245, and then have an average price somewhere around like 254 ish.
Yep. With the next question, we had Zachariah saying, you guys are great. Thanks for all the research and hard work. Thanks for sharing your analysis and news updates. Keep it up. I never miss your show. Thank you so much for all these compliments. And then this person also said, does Tesla open at the price it closed today, which is about $410, or at the pre-market price, which is about $460? So great question here. So let's look at Tesla's example. So we can see that Tesla closed around $410 yesterday. And we could see back in after hours and pre-market of this morning, it ran up to around $460. So whenever this happens, the stock is always going to open at the price that was last traded in pre-market. So for example, we can see that like the last traded price, like literally like a second before market open, Tesla was at about $460.17. And then right when the market opened, it opened at $460.26. So it's going to always open like right around that last traded price right before the market opens. So to answer your question, the pre-market price. With the next question, we have Markin saying, can you go over ILMN stock for tomorrow, please?
Yeah, ILMN. I mean, it looks like that they're starting to pull back up. I don't know what they do exactly, but they look like a pretty decent stock, especially for the long term. But they have been in quite the downswing over the past year, and I mean, COVID might have something to do with that. But it doesn't look like that they're doing too well as of late. I would say she asked in the short term, right?
Um, Let me see. It was just in general. What do you think of ILMN in general?
Oh, okay. In general, I would say for the long term, you're probably pretty good, and you're at a pretty good price right now. You're around $100 off the high of around 400, so I think that's pretty good. But in the short term, I think it looks pretty bearish just on the charts.
All right, and then we had trading saying, you guys better take a look at the Apple 125 strike calls for this week. Crazy, stupid volume and contracts. So let's take a look. He said the 125 strike calls. I mean, Apple looks like it's not really doing anything right now. I mean, I'm not against the trade, but looking at the 125 strike calls, the odds definitely aren't in your favor. I mean, they're only going for about $9 right now. I don't love the trade. I mean, it has a very, very low chance of winning. The 125 strike calls that expire in 3 days. Apple can pop up. It's just that specific option has a really low chance of winning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely going to be a gamble play. But the thing is that it is $6. But just keep in mind that sometimes these people they like to load up with 50 contracts of that at $6. So sometimes it can get pretty crazy, and I definitely wouldn't do that. It's more of a gamble play than anything. If anything, just get one or two.
Yep. All right, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market for tomorrow?
Yeah, last thing I really wanted to hint on here is PLTR has really been running up lately and playing pretty well off of technicals, especially after earnings, which actually weren't too good. They really did not have good earnings, and they actually went up. So can you imagine that in this type of market, they had bad earnings and they go up, and then these other stocks have good earnings and go down. But nonetheless, I'm going to be looking for PLTR to pop above 1875 tomorrow, and I really like this on the daily chart as well. Ever since IPO, they've just been running. So if they break 1875, I could see them going up, and they deal in data as well. So that's just a market that's been booming.
Oh yeah, 100%. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want to trade the same options that Tom and I trade each day, it's the Stocked Up Options Alerts link in the description down below. It also gives you access to the machine learning robot. And with that being said, if you guys want to see our videos on your YouTube homepage each day, don't forget to subscribe. But other than that, thanks for watching.